Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome back. I am CallMeNakomi, and this is CallMeNakomi World, back for another episode breakdown of the Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime, guys. I'm so happy to be back, guys. I know that we're getting ready for Thursday when we're gonna have the release of episode 5. I am gonna have episode 4 for you guys real soon before episode 5 releases. But today I'm gonna bring you the episode 3 breakdown. It was a great episode. I'm so happy to come back and let you know what I think, break down the episode blow by blow, you know what I mean? And in my special way of breaking it down by character or by group, I feel that that's always a great way to go ahead and do that for you guys. Just to go ahead and stay with the specific ones. What's going on with you, Die Hard? I thank you for coming through. Thank you for saying what's up. I appreciate you for being here, man. Hope you're doing how you doing, man. I mean, hey, my Lakers. I think we'll right the ship before the playoffs. We'll right the ship before the playoffs. Right now, we're trying to get it all figured out with everybody healthy, but we're going to get there. But today, I'm here to talk about the Wheel of Time. If you haven't gone and seen this show already, go ahead and watch the show. Watch it from the first season, guys. If you want to, and if you're into fantasy / horror / sci-fi, guys, the Wheel of Time book series is amazing. So go ahead and read it or get the audio books. It's amazing. Or just go ahead and watch the show. It's on Amazon Prime. It's great stuff. Go ahead and watch it. The third season is absolutely popping. I'm really enjoying it. Absolutely enjoying it. We got to get it together. Absolutely, son. Support. Appreciate you, son. Appreciate your support, man. Really appreciate it. But yeah, season 3 of the show is great. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm just here to talk to you guys about it and just basically see what you guys think. So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so before. Hit that notification button so whenever I go live, you guys will know that I'm going live. I also am trying to basically drop the notification to show that I'm going to be live later on this evening. So when I come on, so you guys are ready and will be able to come in and see it. But here we go. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now, like I said before, I'm not going to have any spoilers past book 5. I'm not going to have any spoilers past book 5. But at the same time, this season is not a spoiler season. It's basically, it's not, it's a new turning of the wheels. So, new things are going on, but some things that obviously connect straight to the books. And a lot of things from the books happen in this episode. So I'm so excited to go ahead and talk to you guys about it. But please go ahead, like the episode, comment, drop comments in the live or after. If y'all watch after the live show, please go ahead and do that. I really appreciate you guys. But here we go. All right. So, like I said, I broke this down by characters, but at the same time, I feel like I put it in a kind of a flow, a flow, so you kind of can follow how the episode went. We start off with obviously the open, though. The open is Gabriel, and he's walking down into a dark crypt, and he's met by Lanfear and Samael. All right, so that's another Forsaken that's in the show. We have Samael, but where is he? Who knows? Who knows where he is? She notices some lipstick as she looks at him. She notices some lipstick on Gabriel's collar, and basically says that, oh, so you're with a queen, so you're in a queen's bed already, and then she calls him Robin. So, oh, Gabriel's Robin. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed? Anybody who read the book should know Gabriel is Robin, and also and that makes him one of the Forsaken. So that at least is 3, besides not including Ishmael, who died in the last season. So that is 4 Forsaken that was out into the world. And and she says he hasn't even been free for a full month yet. But he says, that for everyone else, he's been Morgaze's, he's been with Morgaze for at least about a decade. So he's been compelling, which is compelling is a weave, or kind of, I guess you could say, a spell that you can put on somebody to make them believe or do whatever you want them to do. You know what I mean? So he's been compelling everybody. I remember when he walked in at the beginning of the season, he walked into the hall of the tower, and Leanna, the keeper, she didn't even know who that was. For a second, she stumbled on trying to remember his name, and then out of nowhere, it's like, oh yeah, Gabriel. And Swan greeted him like he was an old friend. Gabriel, it's so good to see you. It's been a while. You know what I mean? And so he's been compelling everybody from right and left. You know what I mean? And Samael teases Landfill about Rand, basically, that it's Rand Althor, like, because she's all, her nose is wide open, obviously, for Rand, you know what I mean? Which forces, and so Landfear gets her hackles up. Samael's not going to back down, so Robin decides to step in and ease the tension, saying that the last time they basically fought each other more than they even fought the dragon, so they need to basically focus themselves back to figure out what they want to do. You know what I mean? And he's wondering, why did you summon us here anyway? And she's summoned them to talk about Mogadine, who is another Forsaken who is free. Now, Forsaken, for anybody who doesn't know, Forsaken are people who are channelers who could use the magic system, but they swore themselves to the Dark One, which is the evil devil type person, basically. And they promised their soul to them to get mortality and power. That's basically what happened. So they're the Forsaken. So that's 5 Forsaken: Mogadine, Ishamael, Samael, Robin, and Lanfear. That's 5 of them. And she said that Mogadine's out here. She's a coward, but she's smart. That's what she tells them. And she tells them that basically they should all, work together to try to outsmart her or to stop her from basically killing them all off, because she's going to do what she usually does, and she goes for the weakest first, which she says is Samael. Samael, throwing shade at you, bro, son, throwing shade at you. And her goal is, and her goal and all of theirs is obviously to become nameless, but you have to survive to be the nameless. You know what I mean? And the leader the nameless is basically the person who is chosen to be the leader of the Forsaken. And my bad. The chosen, as they like to be called, rather than the Forsaken. Her proposal is basically for them to join an alliance. But Robin says, okay, I'll take your proposal back to the others. And they're like, the others? And he's just like, yeah, Grindal and Semirog. And so that's 2 others. So there's 7 Forsaken, 6 Forsaken walking the earth right now. That is just a problem. It's a problem for everybody. People who channel and people who can't. They're out there. They compel people. They can kill you with nothing, with no kind of remorse or oaths to hold them back, like the Aes Sedai have. Oaths not to kill or not to lie. They could lie. They could steal. They could kill. So the Forsaken are a problem, and there's 6 of them out there right now. You know what I mean? So, but he obviously has some type of an alliance already going on with Grendel and Summerrock. And, and they're actually a little bit upset that she didn't invite them to this little meeting. And so she's just like, okay, I see how it is. And so with a kiss, she opens a portal and steps back through. And Samael decides to leave in similar fashion. And out of nowhere, Mogadine comes and steps out of the shadows. She's always in the shadows, just like a little spider. And she says that Lanfear is playing the same game that she did last time. Trying to help Lutheran, trying to help Rand al'Thor. Is that her game? But she says she doesn't wish to be caged again. So she thinks that they need to work again against Lanfear. So I wonder if Lanfear was the one who I wonder how they think that went. The show is on Amazon Prime, my boy. The show is on Amazon Prime. It's a great show, great story. You know what I mean? First season, good. Next season, great. This season, amazing. Just watch the cold open. Just go ahead, Google Wheel of Time on Prime, cold open, episode 1, season 3. People get murked right and left. It's amazing. It's great stuff, man. Season 1 started off with some Game of Thrones type stuff, man. I'm right now. It's they up the ante. They up in the ante, man. Gotta love it. So then after that, they go to Varen. We're gonna go to Varen. And she's speaking to Nynaeve and Elaine about the 2 Black Aja members. Black Aja, who is people who are Aes Sedai, who have sworn themselves to the Dark One also. Good. It's a good watch, man. You come back and you let me know what you think about it. Come back, seriously. Come back and let me know what you think about it, man. And she's talking to Nynaeve and Elaine about the two Black Aja members who Joya and Amiko, who Swan the Armelin caught. And she wants them to question the Black Aja members, and they're black, not because they're black as in black, but they're black as in they swore themselves to the shadow. And she wants them, Nynaeve and Elaine, to question them, as a different a different approach, because they haven't been able to get too far with them anyway. So, and Elaine actually thinks this is a good idea, because she says that they have an advantage that Aes Sedai don't. They could lie. And Varen's like, perhaps you're right. I love it. I love Varen. I love Varen. Um, and so Nynaeve goes in there with her, brute force. And so she threatens them with their lives, of course. That's basically, if you're gonna lie, might as well go for it. She says, we're gonna kill you if you don't tell the truth, or tell us what you know. And Joya doesn't give anything up at first. She's just like, I'm calling your bluff. You know what I mean? Lawyer. That's basically what she's like, lawyer. Amiko, though, is all weak and meek on the floor. And she says that and she basically is, quote unquote, spilling her guts. And she's just like, each of the Black Aja only know two others. And each sister will only know one other outside of their heart. And their two others is the heart. They call them a heart, a little group within the big collective. But they only know one other outside of their heart. But somehow Leandrin found out somehow, who some others are. Obviously, since she knew that there were others in the hall with her that could help her to escape. So they so they go and they tell Joya that, yo, the girl's talking over there, so maybe we should just go ahead and kill you. So Joya's just like, Leandrin is going to Tyr to help one of the Forsaken take Kalendor. Kalendor, very, very powerful magical object, supposed to be used only with men, right? And so one of the male Forsaken is trying to take that. And Leandrin is supposed to be going to help him take it before Rand could get there. And so they take that information and they go back to Amiko, and then Amiko's like, she's lying. Leandrin is going to Saldea to help the false dragon Mazrim Time. Mazrim Time is another male channeler who just popped up out of nowhere and is claiming to be the Dragon Reborn, even though Rand just claimed himself as the Dragon Reborn, But later they decided to say, all right, let's just back off this for a while. So later in the streets of Tar Valon, Nynaeve is basically leading Elaine to discuss while they through the streets as they discuss their problems. And they just like, do they go to Saldea or do they go to Tyr? And Nynaeve doesn't believe either of them them girls at all, And so she takes Elaine to a room where Leandrin was hiding her son. She had a son who was like 90 something years old, dying of old age pretty much, because Aes Sedai lived for a very, very long time. So she pretty much outlived her son, which is a very, very sad thing to consider, which is a very interesting twist to put on, on this turning of the wheel of the wheel of time, because none of the Aes Sedai from the books basically had a child. And that would be very sad if they did, because they would obviously outlive their children, like how they outlived their warders, But Leandrin had a son. So, and she actually, and Nynaeve followed her one time to find that she actually had a son. And so Leandrin kind of confided in her a little bit, And so, but little did they know, as they walked through the streets, there was another gray man, which is an assassin, following them through the streets, and when they get there, they find like that Leandrin's son is gone. And they're talking about it. They're talking about Leandrin, and Elaine deduces that Nynaeve kind of liked Leandrin, even though she was dark. She kind of liked Leandrin, and Nynaeve thinks that she was trying to use her, but she also thinks that she was trying to help her get over her block. Hey, help her to help her. That's kind of how that might have probably went. Then they find a symbol somewhere. They looking, and they find a symbol that is painted on the floor beneath the bed that the son was sleeping in. And then back at the Black Tower, Elaine and Nynaeve, they're doing their Nancy Drew, and they're looking in some books, and they find the symbol that was beneath the bed in an old book. And it's an old Tenchiko custom to paint the symbol where a person died and where a person lived, or where a person was born. And they summarize that Leandrin is heading to Tanchico to do this. And um and obviously then the two black sisters were lying, about everything pretty much. They decide to look at the things that they didn't mention, though, the things that they weren't talking about. They never mentioned any of the objects of power that was stolen from the 13th depository, you know and they're going through some scrolls and reading about them, and Varen had collected. She did a inventory pretty much on everything that was taken. um and they find one that looks like a old bracelet that looks kind of like the Suldam bracelet that the Shanchan used, but a little older. And just then, out the corner of her eye, Nynaeve catches the sight of a gray man who fires a crossbow bolt at both of them. She pushes Elaine to the side, and Elaine uses the power and closes the door and pushes the gray man outside. When they get up, Elaine goes out to check in the hallway to find the gray man dead. He was stabbed. And then out of nowhere, Varen shows up a moment later. And Nynaeve is suspicious immediately. She's just like, what are you doing here? And Varen's like, this is the Black Aja quarters. I'm Black Aja. What are you doing here? Obviously. So Varen sees the gray man and warns them that they need to go back to their rooms and lock the doors and stay there until Swan or herself comes to get them. And as they leave, Nynaeve tells Elaine that they are not staying there another night. They will leave to Tanchico tonight. And Nynaeve says that, it's obvious that they would be safer, wherever they're more than where they are here, because Varen didn't even mention or ask who killed the gray man. Dun, dun, dun. Now we go to Elida. Elida is serving every single night. Elida is serving number 4. Absolutely. I'm sorry. Now the clothes, the hair, the shade, it's amazing. Absolutely. Perfect casting, guys. Perfect casting. So Elida's in her room when her hands start to shake out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she's a little old and she got the shakes a little bit, but her hand starts to shake. But sometimes that could be interpreted as her having a foretelling, which is basically seeing the future. She gets a viewing of what the future will hold. And she calls for one of her Andoran servants to come through, but Min comes in and lets her know that the lady left with the queen when the queen left to go back to Andor, and offers to help her instead. And Elida's like, you better. Then Varen and Lyanna, who is Swan, the president of the Aes Sedai, and Lyanna is her vice president, pretty much. And so Varen and Lyanna are speaking outside of the Amelin's quarters. And when Elida decides to come and pay Swan a visit, not letting her in though. They're basically like running interference, for Swan, trying to find out, what are you doing here, Elida? What do you want? And Elida warns them, hey, don't make an enemy of me. I hold grudges. I respect it. They being nasty. Why be nasty? Maybe it's because I really don't like that character from the books, but maybe it's the casting. And I think that is exactly what y'all needed to do. That's exactly what y'all needed to do, Rafe. Perfect casting. I don't hate Elida. I just know the kind of shit that she's going to get up to. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. So Elida warns them, hey, I hold grudges. Don't mess with me like that. And Lyanna tells her, listen, go and get a sitter and come back, and the sitter can ask for a meeting with the Armelin. Tells her, you will not pass. So Elida's like, all right, no doubt. And she goes back to her Aja's quarters. She goes back to the Red Aja quarters, which is basically the area of the tower where all the Red Aja sisters live. And she goes in and greets Sutama, who is the highest of the Reds. She is the Aes Sedai who was fighting against the two black sisters outside of the hall, holding her own by herself. I like Sutama. And she goes in and greets her, and she has Galina, who is the other Black Aja member. I mean, sorry, Freudian slip. Red Aja member who was standing at her side, the one who has a little kind of birthmark underneath her eye. And she greets both of them like, like old friends. And she's even brought gifts to try to smooth the conversation, but it has no effect. They're just like, what do you want? And as a matter of fact, Sutama says, she looks at this jewelry, this necklace that Elida brought her. And she said, it's too gaudy for me. It would probably look better on you. Shade, God. But Elida takes a shade in stride, you know what I mean? And so Satama basically, she cuts to the chase. She's just like, girl, what do you want? What in the light do you want? Real, real big worm style. What the want you want? And she's just like, listen, I don't want anything. I just want to bring the red Aja back to its heights of where it was when I was the highest. And Satama's like, girl, that was a long time ago. And they take the time. She wants to bring the red Aja back to its rightful place. And so, but so Satama's like, this is not the right time. After what Leandrin did, we can't ruffle no feathers and make no ripples right now. But Elida says it's exactly the time, when the dragon has been reborn and it's a man, y'all. It's a man. Jeez. And she wants a vote in the hall to send 8 sitters to capture and cage Rand and bring him back to the tower. Back to that shit. Elida's back to that shit. But her suggestion was pretty much dismissed by Sutama. Later on, though, while she's still there, Lyanna, the keeper of the tower, comes to the Red Aja quarters, and she says that she found her way by following the rats. This disrespectful. There's no reason to go up in somebody else's house and disrespect them like that. That is just disrespectful. But the Red Aja is just taking it in stride. Now I know why Elida is just like, what the hell happened to you? What happened to y'all? And so Lyanna tells Sutama that Swan wants to see her and has decided to send her and 7 other Red Aja members to go and cage Majum Time, the other false dragon in Saldea. And Elida's just like, hold up. The highest can't leave the tower right now. She has a lot of work to do. And she can't be interrupted. And Sutama ignores her and asks, okay, when does the Amelin when would the Amelin like for us to leave? And Lyanna tells her tonight and says that, you need to come on right now so I can tell you what she wants. When they leave, though, Elida's sitting next to Galena and they look very, very comfortable, with each other like Judy's. And Elida's just like, who will replace her in the hall? Go ahead and give her a vote. Nope. Some people don't deserve votes. I ain't gonna say no more, guys. I ain't gonna say no more. All right, so we cut to another group. Matt. Yes, Matt is still in the tower, and he is still hearing the sounds of war and dying in his head, and it keeps him up at night. And then there's a knock at his door, and he doesn't really care for visitors, but of course it's Min, and she comes right in, in spite of him trying to tell her to go. He doesn't want any visitors, but she insists, you know what I mean? And she tells him that she wants, she tells him what she wants to apologize, but he doesn't want to hear it. And she's just like, do you know what I gave up for you? If Shamael was gonna take away my vision so I could be a normal person, I could be a real boy. No. So she could be a normal, but she instead decided to help him. And when he still doesn't decide to forgive her, she decides to be like, after this, I'm leaving. I'm going home. Screw you, I'm going home. Later, Min brings the dress up to Elida's room, and Elida figures out that Min has been placed to spy on her because, a blue sister, I don't know. I mean, hey, friends make friends. It is what it is, but she told her that a blue sister let her know that, hey, be careful of the people that, are placed to serve you because they're spies. And so she knows that Min was placed there as a spy to spy on her. But she also knows that Min is a seer like she is. Min sees visions of the future. And after some bonding back and forth, like, oh, it's such a hard thing to have to live through, ain't it? She tells Min of the foretelling she had where the queendom of Andor would play a key role in the last battle. And so that's why she placed herself there. And then she shares her latest foretelling with Min, who sits down eagerly, like, ooh, yeah, I want to hear the tea. And she tells her, and she's just like, just make sure this stays between us. And so she's just like, yeah, it'll stay between us. And then so she says that the red sitters will call for a vote in the hall and they'll win and restore the tower to its original mission to find and cage the dragon reborn. Dun dun dun. Of course, I mean that wasn't no damn foretelling. That was just her ambition talking to her in her head. Sometimes you gotta don't listen to them voices. Don't listen to them voices. They'll steer you wrong, Alida. They'll steer you wrong. You might end up caged. Anyway, later on, Matt is out looking for Min. He feels bad about what he did and what he said. So he's walking around the halls and, he sees her and he apologizes for earlier. And she thinks, she says it's okay, but she thinks that they can make some good out of what has happened to them. And right then she looks at Matt and sees a vision of him hanging from a red door frame, hanging, like literally hanging from a red door frame. And before she could tell him, he's just like, I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear none of these visions. Then out of nowhere, Glad, being nosy, comes in thinking that Matt is disturbing her. And after she walks away, Matt calls him a prick and does the same. As is, you should just do to Glad because he's a prick all the time. Later on, Matt is just trying to blow off some steam, so he's in the Waters training yard playing, training with a quarterstaff, which is basically a bow staff, a long, long stick, thick, about wrist thick. You could do some damage with it, you know what I mean? So he's he's basically practicing against one of the wooden dummies. When Galad and Gawain come in walking with their practice swords, and they start jeering him, and they said they basically are intending to teach him a lesson. Yeah, right. Matt laughs sarcastically, like, go somewhere, please. Do something with your life. You know what I'm saying? So they offer to show Matt how to use the sword, but he says he'll put his trust in a bow or a quarterstaff. These are the weapons that he knows. And then out of nowhere, Nynaeve comes in to tell Matt that, we're leaving. So, just letting you know we about to peace out. And he figures this is just the plans that he's been waiting for. So he says, you're not leaving without me. It's about damn time. We going somewhere, road trip. And so he tries to pull her along when Galad says to leave her alone. And Matt is just like, well, what? And so they just like, oh, we're going to teach your ass a lesson. And he says, listen, I'll bet both of you each two marks each that I could beat you both with a quarterstaff. They're just like, bro, we don't want to take your money. I mean, he's just like, come on, son, what you got? What you got? And then it's like, all right, fine, bet, deal. And then he says, Dobeande Sotovias again. Oh, that's Matt's catchphrase. It means it's time to roll the dice. Absolutely, baby. Absolutely. And Matt basically assumes a look of focus real quick, and he begins to fight. He's whirling the staff around. It looks like, Donald Finn has been training really, really well with that quarterstaff. That's pretty much his weapon of choice, that, or, maybe something that has a little something sharper at the end, like a little spear, like he made in the last episode. You know what I mean? And so he's wheeling it around, busting them in the head, knocking them off their feet, and moving around. And Nynaeve's looking with pride every single time he lands a hit. She's just like, yeah, I love it. I love it. Absolutely. And pretty much she can't believe it when he beats both of them, knocks them both to the ground and makes them yield. Almost hits Galad in the head and is just like, I could have caught you, boy. You could have caught you. And with that, basically, he leaves and it's like, you owe me 2 marks, both. I want my money. Give me my money. Absolutely. That night, Nynaeve, Elaine, and Matt head to the docks. And although, Nynaeve is just like, you sure we have to take a boat? Yes, we have to take a boat. It's the fastest way to get to Tanchico. It's all in the other side of the goddamn country. It's like going to California. Ain't no planes. We can't fly or travel. So back in the books, Nani kind of has a tender stomach when it comes to boats. She doesn't like, all the motion in the ocean. And I feel it. Because Lord knows I'll be doped up on Dramamine, and have some wristbands on me whenever I go whenever I go on a cruise. So I completely understand you, Naive, but it is like, yes, we have to take a boat, and they told each other that they didn't tell anybody where they were going because they didn't want another gray man to follow them. But little did they know, Min is following close behind. Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's take a trip real quick over to Tanchico, and we follow Leandrin and her group as they arrive in Tanchico. It's a port town pretty much, and the people have a custom of wearing veils over their faces. And she arrives at her old home and she stumbles in on a wedding between a man and a young girl, like 14 years old or something like that. That's nasty. Anyway, she finds out that he is the great grandson of her husband. And Leandra remembers what happened to her when she was just 13 years old. So, disgusted, she decides to kill him with the one power, putting her hand straight through his chest, lifting him off the ground. And then she pulls out his heart and drops it to the floor. And then tells the rest of the Black sisters, don't hold back. Woo. They start killing immediately. Doesn't leave without any kind of remorse. And I was wondering, I was just like, dang, she just used the one power out in the open in front of everybody. How are they going to get away with this? But yeah, they killed everybody in that whole room except for the girl, which Naomi comes by and compels to forget everything. Unfortunately, Naomi is obviously not as good with that weave as other channelers could be. Then later on, Leandrin, she draws the symbol on the floor. I'm assuming in the area where her son was born. And she remembers what happened to her and mourns her son. Then goes back out to where the other Black Ajah sisters are, congregating. And Naomi is there researching the bracelet. She tells Leandrin that it's similar to what the Shanchan use on women, but Leandrin has deduced that it was created to control a man, and they plan to collar and capture the dragon reborn with it. All while Maggedian is serving tea out in this bitch. They don't even realize that it's a whole ass Forsaken walking around, and they don't even know who this is. Man, come on now. She is just like, no, nobody noticed me. Getting all the tea and just walking around with no problems. And if they even decide to even bark at her, she probably would compel them back into thinking that, oh, yeah, she's just a servant, pay her no mind. Gotta love the Forsaken. Gotta love the Forsaken. No, you don't gotta love the Forsaken. Bad. Heading out east to the Io Waste, we have Rand and Ruark, and they're walking around. They're walking along, heading towards their next camp. And Rand asks Ruark, how did you know that we were coming? And Ruark says that's Wise One's business. It's pretty much the go-to answer for a lot of this stuff, And they walk a little bit more, and Egwene and Rand is asking, Ruark about, the Rodion and what he can expect, but he can't tell much because Rand hasn't been there before, and that's against the rules. And Egwene tells Rand that, hey, that woman, the old woman that pretty much met them on the slopes of the dragon wall, the spine, I guess the spine of the world, whatever that is, that she was the woman that was in her dreams. And the woman overhears her and says, that's Bear. I might have called her a Mies before. I hope I didn't call her a Mies, but and that's actually Bear. That's the name of the Wise Ones in this episode right now. The woman overhears and says, no, you are in my dream. Near water, they continue on and come close to a stand which is near water, and then all the Aiel start to veil because Aiel usually fight over anywhere that there's water. It's the desert. Yeah, you're gonna fight over water. So they spread out, they veil themselves and spread out in all different directions, and they come closer and see they find a row of wagons that are abandoned and tinkers that are dead all over the place. Tinkers. That's is I think I kind of feel like that's a slur. I'd rather call them Tuatha. I'm gonna call them Tuatha. From going forward. I'm gonna try to remember not to call them tinkers. I kind of feel like that's like muggle, calling somebody a muggle. It's a slur. It's a slur. Anyway, but they find them dead all over, and the Aiel are shocked about this because they're just like, it's dishonorable to kill anyone who wouldn't defend themselves. And so Lan comes over and is inspecting the body and realizes that one has been killed with what looks like a sword. Or no, one of the Aiel says that it looks like he's been killed with a sword. But Lan looks a little closer and says it might have been a spear too. It might be a spare one too. So they say, who could have did this? And somebody says, the Shido could do such a thing. I'm telling them the Shidos is like them Tar and Fairy people. You can't trust those people at all. Keep them out of your towns. They're eating the cats and dogs. Anyway, who, so who they it might be the Shido clan. Who the Tardad Aiel, which is basically Ruark and Bear and Melane's clan. They have a feud, so you never know. They're all cautious and looking around, but they decide to bury the bodies that were left there. Then later on that night, Egwene and Bear decide to take a walk together and have a talk. And she tells Egwene that it has been very, very many years since the tower has produced a Dreamwalker. One who basically can enter the dream world fully. And so that's basically what she's telling Egwene, that's what she did. And that's a special gift. And only two women or two wise ones in the Tardad Aiel, which is her and Melaine, can actually do that. And Egwene tells her about the dream that she's been having over and over again of Rena choking and doing nasty things to her face and the bruises that are left when she wakes. And so, Rena is dead, and Bear is just like, only live people can hurt you in a dream. And with that, she tells Egwene that she'll teach her all that she can to protect herself in the dream. So, if Rena is dead and can no longer hurt her, who is hurting Egwene in her dreams? Maybe somebody called her a doe-eyed cow. I think that might be it. Yeah, I deduced that Lanfear is basically posing as Rena and brutalizing Egwene in her dreams over and over and over again because she's close to Rand. I tell you, man, Lanfear, brutal. That chick is brutal. A woman scorned. A woman scorned. Mm-hmm. What you do for the ones you love. I'm going to go over more of that in episode 4 breakdown. And once again, Rand is in the dream with Lanfear in their room back in Kyrian. And she's sitting on the bed, but he acts again with this dream. And she's just like, bro, you brought me here to your dream. You brought me here. I didn't come here. And then she tells him that he was right to stay away from Kalandor, that it's a trap. And also that there's a way for her to escape her oaths with the Dark One if the Dark One is destroyed. And he's like, can that even be done? And she's just like, there's a Sa'angreal as strong as Kalandor. It's called Sakarnin, and it's made for women. And with both of them, Kalandor and Sakarnin, she thinks that they could kill the Dark One, and implies that, if they can, that they can finally be together. But he's like, they can't. So she decides to end the call immediately, abruptly, and disappears. He click, hang up the phone. Anyway, Lan and Moraine are sitting sweltering naked in a sweat tent. That's how Aiel. It's like a sauna. That's how Aiel relax and clean themselves after a long day's work. When in Rome, you know what I mean. and is surrounded by other Aiel, and they're all naked too. And Moraine is sitting near enough to Melaine and asks her, "What is the significance of Roydion?" And so Melaine tells her, "It is where the clan chiefs, where men go to become clan chiefs, and where women go to become wise ones. But Rand must also go." A maiden then enters into a maiden of the spear, that is, a woman who is a fighter, a warrior, um, enters the tent too. And at first, Lynn or in Moraine can't tell which one of them that she's looking at. She's kind of making googly eyes at in their direction, and they can't tell which one it is. And he muses that, he bets an hour with her will make her happy again, because obviously, she's having a dry spell with Swan. They had their fight. Moraine Swan decided to compel her or force her with her oaths to do what she says, and Moraine decided not to. So they're having a little fight, even though Moraine saved her life, in the first episode. Lan's just like, go ahead and get your mind off of it a little bit, you know what I mean? And Moraine's just like, listen, I need more than an hour to get happy right now. Is that all you think that I need? Anyway, but then the woman approaches and she asks Lan if he would like to join her tonight. Yeah, they're forward. Like a farm girl at harvest. And as she turns, they see a tattoo of a golden crane on her back, and that is a symbol of Lan's country, Malkir, which was taken by the Blight, which is pretty much like a tainted or spoiled land that comes from the Dark One's touch. He follows her outside, and she introduces herself as Melindra, a woman from Malkir herself, who came when she was a girl when the Blight took the land. She says that she would break her spears today and follow him to the Blight to take back their city. He says Malkir is gone, but she disagrees. She says as long as a man wears a Hydori, and Malkir lives, and as long as a woman wears the Kaisane, Malkir lives, and asks him on a line, on a line. That's what they call land. That's their name. That's the Aiel name for land. Land actually has its own thing that he's called a man alone, or I think it's a man alone or a man without a country, or something like that. Basically, if he has forgotten his duty, and he says he has not forgotten. Lastly, we get to Perrin and his storyline. So Perrin is up in the hills above Emmons Field, and he's tending to apple trees, specifically one. He plants his ring at the ground of this one young apple tree, and he is soon joined by Alana. He tells her that anyone from his family who is laid to rest here is laid with the apple seed in their hand, and it usually and it grows into a tree. That's very interesting. I actually feel like that would be a really cool way to be interned or to be buried. I've seen things like that where they have these biodegradable bags that you can bury someone with and then plant a tree on top of it. I think that that's a very interesting way and a special way to surrender your body back to the world or back to the earth. Basically, he is a little upset, but at the same time happy that that his wife's tree is surviving and thriving, even though he's not been there to help it. And he says that that's what they do, and this tree is his wife's tree. And Alana shares with him that from where she's from, they mix the ashes of their dead with clay and water and wear them on their face. And that's basically the face paint that Alana has been wearing ever since she got to the Two Rivers. And what she's wearing right now is Yvonne's ashes on her face. And she says that she and Maxim are both grieving the loss. Back in Emmons Field, Chiad and Bane are trying to convince Loyal to play Maiden's Kiss. He politely declines and saying that he'd prefer to work on his book. Exactly, bro. You saw what happened to Matt. I'm good. Appreciate you. I'm flattered, but I'm good. Not completely put off, they decide to go and try Maxim, who definitely declines while continuing to sharpen his knife. He's been sharpening his knife for like 2 straight weeks, Hasn't stopped yet. And actually, he still has the blood of Ivan on his sword and he won't clean it off. He is that's literally, as he says, the only man that he has ever loved. Then a group of people enter the inn, bringing news that the White Cloaks have arrested Matt's mother and sisters after Abel and Tam helped the Abaras escape. So Abel, who is Matt's father, and Tam Althor, who is Rand's father, and Bran, I believe I heard that in the second episode, they went and got to the Abaras before the White Cloaks could and took them away. So in retribution, they decided to take Matt's mother and sisters. Not good. Not good. The young woman that has come in with the group is very interested in Perrin, looking at him and asks who he is. But the people in the group recognize him and is like, that's Perrin, that's Perrin, that's Perrin. And Mrs. Alvear shows up and introduces the man who is leading the group, Lord Luke, a hunter of the horn. Not gonna spoil nothing. Not gonna spoil nothing. I kind of got those. I sold my royal oats on that spoiler basically with my brother a little earlier yesterday when we were talking about it. And through the posturing, after all the posturing, basically, the woman tells Perrin that the coffins were taken to the White Cloak camp at Watch Hill. Meanwhile, in the White Cloak camp, Bornhall is met by Eamonvalda. How in the hell how is he still alive? Damn it. Did he get Aes Sedai healing? That's all I want to know. He took one in the back. I'm just trying to figure out exactly how the hell he survived. I wish he didn't. And Eamonvalda wants to question the coffins, and Bornhall's looking at him like, you are brutal. No. They're fine. You don't have to question them. And Eamonvalda is like, any place that births Perrin Aybara has to be bad. The people that come from here have to be bad. So after a while, Bornhall tells him that he sent for reinforcements to help with the Trollocs. But if they don't get here in time, he'll allow Valda to question Matt's mom and sisters. But they're hanging strong in there. They're just like, I'm not telling you shit. Anyway. Back in Emmons Field, the people gather on the green and they're saying the White Cloaks are after Perrin. And he's just like, I plan to turn myself in so that the White Cloaks could give up the coffins. But Mr. Alvear comes in and she's just like, you are no dark friend. And I wish somebody would come tell me different. It says that if the White Cloaks leave and after they get you, we won't even have our pride left when the Trollocs come back for us. You know what I'm saying? That's real talk. That is real talk. If we go ahead and let go of Perrin, who is not a dark friend, just because these people walk up out of nowhere talking about like he's a dark friend, hand him over to us. They just give him up when they know that he's not guilty. You know what I mean? They won't even have their pride left when they die for the Trollocs. So no, you're not going nowhere. And he will stay. Because the two rivers defend their own. Mr. Alvear, you're a real one, girl. You're a real one. Absolutely. You're a real one. And so Alana finds Maxim while everybody's outside. She finds Maxim still in the attic, sharpening his sword. And he asks her why she hasn't turned off the bond. And she says, because of the Trollocs and the White Cloaks. I'm not going to basically turn that off. And, we need each other. But he thinks that she doesn't feel anything for Ivan. And that's why he can't feel nothing from her. And she's just like, she's protecting herself because she is drowning in his grief because he is so heartbroken over Ivan, the only man he's ever loved. But he is only focused on going out and hunting down Leandrin. That's why he keeps on sharpening his knife. I feel you, bro. You killed my father. I feel it. The young woman later on that evening, finds Perrin in the inn and sits down with him at his table. She says she came to the two rivers looking for the Horn of Valir. He chuckles a little bit and calls herself Mandarb, which means blade in the old tongue. Perrin laughs, of course, and says that that's the name that his friend calls his horse. Hey Amanda, how you doing? How you doing? Nice to have you. Nice to have you guys. I haven't seen your videos in on my feed in a while. Just set all the notifications. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, set the notifications. I'm going live with my reviews and breakdowns. So I'll be coming back tomorrow with my breakdown of episode 4, right before Thursday. We will have episode 5 released, and I will come back on Friday with my review of episode 5. So please set those notifications, like, comment, subscribe. Just basically getting done with episode 3's breakdown, guys. So thank you so much for coming through. Really appreciate you, Amanda. Thank you. So yeah, Mandorb is his friend's horse name. So he starts to chuckle, and so she decides, embarrassed a little bit, to leave, and Loyal comes and joins him and tells Loyal that he's planning on getting Natty and her girls back for the White Cloaks, because he promised Matt that he was going to take care of his family, and he keeps his promises. So Perrin he goes outside and finds the people in Emmons Field are starting to try to head back to their farms, and he tells them they are safer in numbers here. If you go out there, y'all gonna get picked off 2 at a time, 1 at a time, 3 at a time. Y'all gonna get picked off. If we stay here, we have more of a chance to survive. And miraculously, out of nowhere, when everybody had their mindset on going back to their farms and tending to their farms and their flock, they all say, you know what, you're right. Yeah, we gonna stay here. Taviran. Yes, Taviran, for anybody who doesn't know what Taviran means, Taviran is basically a person that the creator or the pattern has spun out into the world to be reborn, so that they can move the pattern or life into the way that it wants the world to go. People who basically are leaders and who can not, have influence among the people, and who can force the pattern to where it needs to be. That's a Taviran. And Perrin is one of the strongest Taviran in a long time, but not stronger than Randall Thor. Him and Matt, Taviran. Yes. Shout out to my man Loyal. You the real one. So later, Perrin is working at the forge, and Mandarb approaches. She realizes that he doesn't plan on staying. And he tells her, he plans to get the coffins back. And she suggests that he needs a plan if he plans to lead. I like that. You need a plan if you plan to lead. I hear you. For real. And he says he doesn't. Sure, you're not a leader, Perrin. Sure, you're not a leader. And so, but he says, you know what? You got a point. You got a point. What you got in mind? What you got in mind? And so she tells him. So he asks her, "What's your real name?" And she says her name is Fael, which means falcon. And that's the end of it. And it's the end of episode 3. But that's the end of my breakdown, at least. Guys, great 3rd episode. Took a while to basically get all these out. Life happens. I'm fit them in when I can, basically. But I'm enjoying reviewing these ones with you, getting back into it. You know what I mean? Getting into a nice little flow, and how I like to to structure my reviews. Please go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what you thought about my review. Tell me what you thought about the breakdown. Tell me what you thought about episode 3. It was a great episode. I really enjoyed a lot of things. I enjoyed a lot of things from the books. Especially with the way that they put in Perrin's speech to the villagers and how he gets them to stay. That's from the books, but it was a smaller party that he was speaking to, but he did it in several different homes and condensed them all to come to Emmons Field. So that's how they adapted it for the book. Absolutely love the fight. That's the one thing that I was hoping that they weren't going to leave out, was the fight with Matt and Galad and Gawain. It was a lot of great parts from that time with Matt being in the tower. There's another part, and I'm hoping that's going to come sooner or later in Tenchico. It doesn't matter where it is, as long as it happens. when Matt's luck really starts to kick in. So I'm hoping to see that part. I'm really interested and can't wait for Nynaeve and Elaine, Matt, and eventually Min to all meet up and come together and try to find the Black Aja in Tanchico. Also, I can't wait to come back with my next episode where I'm going to be reviewing episode 4, which is the Road to the Spear. I think that's the name of the episode. It was a great episode, so I can't wait to go review that with you guys. It's going to come tomorrow. I already have it all written out, but I'm going to come with it tomorrow, guys. Absolutely. Matt and the Princess were great. Absolutely. Thank you, Die Hard. Really appreciate it, man. And also Egwene finally realizing that it can't be Rena who's beating her ass every single night in her sleep. And finally realizing that it's not Rand, he's not going crazy yet. Also, Elida formulating her plan. She's thinking of a master plan. You know what I'm saying? Elida's thinking of a master plan, and they keep on messing with her, and they think that she don't got claws. That cat is not declawed. Keep on messing with her. She's gonna scratch. Sooner or later, she's gonna scratch. And she's gonna make the White Tower great again. Also, Swan. Girl, you don't know what kind of fire y'all are messing with. Y'all don't know what kind of fire y'all are messing with. Is Beren gonna be in the tower when shit hits the fan? Good question. Good question. And who is she gonna end up somehow next to? More to come with the next breakdown, because I need to have that next piece in of what happens with Rand and Moraine as they go into Roydion. So I'm going to basically break down some more and get y'all a little current with my thoughts and wondering where this season is going. But I am very, very energized and hopeful and very optimistic about the season. I am telling the world, I'm speaking to everybody I know when I'm at work, people who know about the Wheel of Time, or people who's heard me talk a million times about the Wheel of Time. I'm spreading the gospel, guys. I'm spreading the gospel and letting them know that this season definitely makes up for anything. I know I have a friend of mine who I actually convinced to read the entire book series, and she did read the entire book series, but after the first season, her husband wasn't really into it, so she decided to stop watching, and I'm telling her, listen, pick it back up, because this season is worth getting to. So please go ahead and do that too, guys. I'm telling you right now, even if you don't read the books, go ahead and watch it. Fight through the first season and get to the second, guys. It's worth it. Absolutely worth it. But you actually might enjoy the first season. It's just basically us book readers who are maybe a little bit skeptical. But I'm hoping that the fresh mind of people who never really read the books will enjoy it. But I'm telling you that this season is absolutely great. So thank you so much for coming through. I really appreciate you for sticking with me for this long. Please comment, subscribe, like the channel, like the episode. I think that this one was pretty good. If I do say so myself. Please come back the next time. Hit the notification bell so you guys will know when I come up live again. And also just watch out to see, whenever I put that up to say I'm going live in a couple hours or in an hour. You know what I mean? I already have my thumbnail ready for next episode. I'm gonna do it tomorrow because I don't have to work tomorrow because it's my birthday, guys. It's my birthday tomorrow, and I'm so happy that I get a day off. I'm gonna play some golf. I'm gonna go out to the driving range and hit some balls. No pause. I'm hitting some balls tomorrow. Going to the golf range. So thank you so much. Appreciate you all. You've been a reader since 96. Blessings, Amanda. Absolutely. Thank you, Die Hard. Appreciate it. I'm a reader since 2012, I think I started, or 2013. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I started in 2013. We've been reading forever, you and me, Amanda. Thank you so much, Amanda. Appreciate for the birthday wishes, though. But guys, no pause, no Diddy, no Josh Kitty. Well said, sir. Well said. Thank you. I will pamper myself. I'm gonna go have some relaxing times and just basically maybe get some golf lessons. Try to hit that ball straight and get, make my my golfing rounds with my brother a little shorter. But hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do this right. Have a good night, y'all. Please take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Look out for each other. Please realize that we are in this together. And may we all find water and shade. Peace.